Wonderful morning to you out there. It's really great to have you join us on the Break It On Papers Review this wonderful Saturday morning. My name is GBOLABO, Famous School, and of course, we're going to be looking at some of the national dailies here in Nigeria. It is still the Break It On Papers Review here in your Laughter Dial 32 FM 94.9. And of course, I have the Punch newspaper, Nation newspaper, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and a host of other papers here up for review this morning. I'll be starting off with the Punch newspaper, and that says resurgent terror attacks on Settle North and Jack Bada. Nigerians abroad return home amid dashed expectations. And science sizzling tales of Nigeria's gyms turned hookup hotbed. A real reason mom chose our course, got into heavy debt. UI first class twin graduates. A visit to Buhari not for coalition talks. That's according to Atiku Abubakar. I'm more here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Lagos Police Hospital exploited hours after water tank killed my sleeping sister. That's according to victim's brother. Gunmen seize ransom bearer, free Kaduna pastor. And we also have other headlines here out of the Punch newspaper this morning. Lagos community protest encroachment confronts sand dredgers. And that Metro Plus page of the Punch newspaper this morning. NDLEA raids Kano drug havens, detains 22 suspects. Displaced traders from demolished Lagos market seek compensation. Cop stabs Ekiti man over girlfriend. All of that are from the Metro Plus page of the Punch newspaper this morning. We do have some headlines to out of business, and it says Delta Airlines post $14 billion profit. Federal government launched 77,400 housing units across 774 LGAs. All of that are some of the headlines here out of the Punch newspaper this morning. We have to take a look at the Nation newspaper. Here on the Nation front page, we have this headline: Rivers emergency suit, PDP governors yet to serve federal government. That's according to the Attorney General of the Federation. Alleged drug deal, you have case to answer, court tells Kyari others. No panic over oil price dip, government insists. And Reps Committee raises alarm over increased smuggling of illicit drugs. Rivers emergency suit, PDP governors yet to serve federal government. That's according to AGF. Police arraign 50-year-old man over alleged unlawful cattle grazing. Suspected motorcycle thief narrowly escapes jungle justice in Benue. And still here on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, a bit of entertainment. Alayo melody singer from street to gospel stage. All right, we also have this one: stay hungry to remain on top. IK Osakio Dua. And this is still the Nation newspaper front page. APC Youth Network berates Ndume of a comment on Tinubu's appointment. First Lady is spreading dividends of renewed hope. Tinubu's reforms bearing fruit, say APC chieftains. All of that are some of the headlines here out of the Nation this morning. We also look at the cable. We do have some headlines also as well from the cable NG this morning. All right here on the cable, federal government visa overstayers risk $15 daily fine, lifetime ban from August. And that's coming from the federal government of Nigeria. NUPRC, Nigerians oil reserve dropped to 32.28 billion naira. Oh, all right, billion barrels in January. NUPRC says Nigeria's oil reserves dropped to 37.28 to 28 billion barrels in January. Ndume Tinubu must dread losing Buhari's support. His followership is occultic. 𝐾𝐈𝐒 additional African nations must seek strategic partnership, avoid retaliatory tariffs amid global trade war. And more headlines here out of the cable this morning. Court orders DCP Abba Kyari to enter defense in drug trafficking trial. And we also have this one. Court orders EFCC to file defense in Aisha Achimogo's suit to stop her arrest. We also have this one. Federal government sets up subcommittee to assess economic impact of U.S. tariffs. El-Rufai visit to Buhari not political. Our adversaries should not lose sleep. Weekend forces 21-day payment deadline, 2-year building limit, and FCT. And Tinubu meets U.S. advisor Massad Boulos in France for security talks. ECOWAS court faults Kano's blasphemy laws, asks Nigeria to amend status. All of that are some of the headlines here out of the cable this morning. We do have Austin in time by, but before we bring Austin on board, let's also take a look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. Right on the front page of the Guardian, we also have a couple of headlines here. And this says, Yakubu laments flawed democracies, hints of exit at ECOWAS Pali. NARC finds it discos 628 million naira for overbidding customers. And this says 2027 PDP governors meet SDP rejects major talks. And still here on the front page of the Guardian, we have this one. Despite many Greek institutions, echoes of "we are hungry" keep pulsating. We need to shift mindset, create systems to support women's leadership. Governor Ahmad Aliyu, Secretary of Al-Maj and Al-Majri Matter, clamp down irregular immigrant begins August 1. That's according to Minister. Alright, still here on the front page of the Guardian. Week introduces sweeping reforms on land allocation development in FCT. Nigeria's oil reserve to run out in 64 years, says NUPRC. Tinubu's appointment comply with federal character principle, SGF declares. All of that are some of the headlines out of the Guardian newspaper this morning. In case you're just joining us, this is the Break It On Papers Review. And of course, Austin is here to do the analysis proper with us this morning. It's good to have you here back, Austin. Good morning.
GBOLABO, good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, Austin. I guess we can start off with Ndume. Ndume has been a staunch critic of the Tinubu government, and he also got a slap for being very critical of the government, which we saw of recent. But he's not backing down. And this time around, he's saying Tinubu must dread losing Buhari's support. His followership is occultic. It's sounding more or less like the former president's wife, Aisha Buhari, then, who said to her husband, all the people who are following you are the people that are strange. And Dume appears to be sounding the same way. Would we say that this is a way Dume is trying to bring back northern hegemony, or what exactly do we say it's all this about? Because it's been like Tinubu hasn't done half of the promises that they expected that he should deliver as a president.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is not the first time. If you look at that particular piece with Ali Ndume, the interviewer actually introduced him as a controversial politician. If you look at Ndume, most of the time he's very frank, and up to time too, he's also very bold, considering what he believes to be speaking the truth to power. But most especially, Ndume is also part of the people that pushes for northern agenda, not just a better Nigeria. That is why I must say it clearly this morning. Most Northerners don't fight for Nigeria. They fight for the interests of the North, especially politically. Again, if you look at that particular interview with Ali Ndume, he said the president is not carrying people along sufficiently, especially politicians, not the commoners, not those that are hungry, not those who cannot feed themselves. It's more of politics, because Ndume was not this critical under the last administration. Of course, there are a lot of economic problems, a lot of issues. The president has not delivered. A lot of policies of the government has made people to sink deeper into poverty. But then there is nothing we have experienced today that we didn't experience under the last administration. It's like poverty romance. That is what we are experiencing, and that is why we often emphasize good governance, because what you fail to do or undo today has a ripple effect of tomorrow. So look at the CBN issue that Ali Odume raised under this administration. Look at the issue of lopsided appointment and what have you. See, if we talk about lopsided appointment, for example, there was a time in the history of Nigeria under the last administration that out of 17 security heads in Nigeria, 14 were from the north. Heaven didn't fall. We didn't die. A lot of people talked about it, but nothing changed. The same thing this administration is repeating now. And in fairness, a lot of critical appointments too are going to the north. But anytime there's a change in appointment, for example, there seems to be backlash. The north will raise eyebrow. Okay, look at the NNPC recent appointment, for example. The chairman of NNPC boards, 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒 from Ondo State, was removed, and Kida replaced him from Borno. Mele Kyari from Borno, as the GMD NNPC, was removed. Bayo Ojulari replaced him from Kwara State. Some Northerners were still of the opinion that Bayo Ojulari is not a core Northerner. I don't know whether you are getting it. So it's more or less like the core North. That is the way they reason. I think about last week, a news broke that, the president wants to remove the INEC chairman. One Professor 𝐒𝐎𝐿, I don't know, has replaced him. You know, there is already handwriting on the wall that the president may want to pick the next INEC chairman from the south. Now I put it up to you, GBOLABO. If you are the president, the North has served 15 years. Jega served 5 years in INEC. Mahmoud is completing his 10 years because INEC tenure office is 5 years. You can do it again, which is a renewal. If you are the president and a particular section of the country has been at the helm of INEC for 15 years, you know, if you are the president, where will you likely pick the next INEC chairman from?
But do we deepen the crisis? We've been divided along ethnic line for a very long time, and that's the problem.
It doesn't matter.
So do we now continue in that light?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Bola. But do you know what I want the president to do? Right. Even the appointment that the president is making, appointing Southerner to critical position, there are even people from the southwest. And the southwest, you even have Lagos and Ogun having overwhelming majority of those critical appointments. What I want the president to do is to spread the appointment. The southeast, for example, give them critical appointment. But I will never be surprised if the president decides to appoint a Southerner as INEC chairman. When Obasanjo established EFCC in 2003, 2004, he appointed Nuhu Ribadu as the pioneer chairman. From there, Farida Waziri, Ibrahim Lamode, Ibrahim Magu, and so on and so forth. Nobody saw anything wrong in that. When the status quo changed, you know, we start making noise. So the point I'm making is that we condemn nepotism, we condemn a government that is not inclusive, we condemn a government that will concentrate appointment in certain part of the country. There was a time in Nigeria, for example, that the southwest, out of the 6 states in the southwest, we have 4 junior ministers. Heaven did not fall at that time. There was a time in the history of this country that we have 7 senior ministers from the northwestern part of the country. So my issue is that if these Northerners are addressing the issue of poverty, if they are addressing the issue of hunger in the land, it's a clear case. But they are merely promoting the Northern hegemony, making it look as if they cannot cope maybe in the next 8 years out of power. You understand? In the last administration, what has never happened before, because you do mention Federal Character Commission, that the president is not following Federal Character. what has never happened before. It is in the Federal Character Act that the chairman and the secretary of the Federal Character Commission must not come from the same section of the country. Buhari appointed the secretary and the chairman of the Federal Character Commission from a section of the country, and Evu did not fall. He appointed Dan Kaka from Kwara State and another person, I think, from Katsina State. Evu did not fall. So some of these things, the conversation should be around economy. The conversation should be around hunger in the land. Let us not be deceived. I've said it and I will continue to say it. The North has never really fought for the interests of the country. It's all about them. All of these alliances, all of this movement, all of this traveling that they are doing, they are finding it difficult to co-part of power. That is the way it has always been. And we must learn all of this. If the president is not doing well, let all of us gather and vote him out of power. But we must be mindful that the North is not after the interests of Nigeria. They are after their own parochial, sentimental, and sectional interests. That's the truth of the matter. Because Ndume has been in the National Assembly since 2003. He has never been this critical of any sitting government. That's the truth, especially a northern government for that matter.
One of those things, do we begin to do ethnic profiling here when we talk about politics? Now, let's look at this one. El-Rufai, visit to Buhari, not political. Our adversaries should not lose sleep. Now, that happens to be the same tune that we also have Atiku singing, saying that this parley is not about taking over or any merger or any coalition. Now, do we begin to go along ethnic profiling or ethnic sentiment in terms of our political interest in the country? Or we should look at leaders who have served, whether you're from the south, from the north, or from the east. You've been in government over time. Why come back on the political stage when there are new entrants, people who are also versatile, who can take very critical positions and do well? So do we talk about recyclement? Leaders that have ruled before, that have governed before, they shouldn't have business in the public space, rather than actually saying, if you're from the north, if you're from the south, shouldn't we be holistic here?
See, we must be holistic. We can't have a sweeping ban on those who have been in power before. We can never achieve that. We have seen some people, is the dynamism of our politics in Nigeria that we are having this conversation along that line. We have had people in the United States of America who have consistently been in power for 50 years. People like Obama, people like even Joe Biden, who started from the National Assembly, and they were consistent over time. But the difference is clear. One is service to the people, one is service for their pocket. That's why we're having the issue. Having said that, on the issue of northern profiling or ethnic profiling, we will continue to have that. It's a narrative. You know, when the democracy came back in 1999, there was this unwritten arrangement of zoning formula that power rotates between the north and the southern part of the country. And that has brought about unity. Most of the time, when the popular session wanted to whip sentiment or they want to grab power at all costs, they will tell you that zoning does not matter. There are eminently qualified and credible Nigerians all over the place. Let us show, for example, there is a particular political party that have been in the country who have felt that, oh, there is nothing. If we want to maintain power, there is a section of the country we must not zone our ticket to. If you look at what is happening today, let's see how far it goes. They will tell you, oh, our visit is just to go and greet Buhari, it's just for Salah homage or what have you. Don't forget, APC governors too, they also went to Buhari. El-Rufai is part of the loyalists of Buhari. You know, Buhari is very popular. What was the name? Ali Udume also alluded to that. Buhari was very popular before he came into office. I don't think Buhari is that popular again after leaving office, because we were all alive between when Buhari was vying for this position and when he came into power. We were all alive. We were not too young when all of these things were happening. See, the 2027 election is most likely going to be a watershed in the history of our country. The election will not be won on social media. It will not be won by sentiment. It will not be one on radio or on television. It's going to be re-politicking. And the way things are going, because I tell you, some of these people that are, okay, look at 𝐒𝐿-Rufai. Less than 2 years, 𝐒𝐿-Rufai have suddenly seen everything bad in the party that you benefited from. 𝐒𝐿-Rufai never operated democracy while he was governor of Kaduna State. He checked a lot of controversy that led to the loss of life. Things are not perfect in Kaduna today, but between you and I, relatively in terms of security, go and ask people from Southern Kaduna. I've been in Southern Kaduna before. I have a family in Southern Kaduna before. We have a family house in Southern Kaduna. The house was burned down 3 times. We built it 3 times and it was burned down. You understand? It was that bad, but there's relatively peace and calmness in some of this area as we speak today. So in 2027 election, Nigerians, they are going to observe, they are going to judge with a number of factors. You are saying that this person is no longer good. You told us yesterday that this person was the Messiah. You that say that this party is now a bad party. You told us yesterday that this was the best party. You, when you were in this party, all of these things that you are asking for, that you are complaining for now, did you do them where you were in the party? So it's going to be very interesting.
Let's not forget that many Nigerians are complaining bitterly about hunger. And now, the weapon that the politicians have always used at the time is come take and get this. And now that has been the challenge within our electoral process itself. What will change in 2027, even with all of this parley talks and the political permutations and calculation? With the way Nigerians are, many people want to feed. And now this is just like you dangling a bone in front of a dog that is very hungry. What do you think will happen? Is anything going to be different in 2027 from what we've seen so far?
I don't see anything different, because some of these politicians that are moving here and there, they are moving because of their personal interests. I've always said this: let nobody deceive you. You trust Nigerian politicians at your own peril. That's the truth of the matter. They are always very popular before they get into office and after they get out of office. Every sitting Nigerian government have always been the worst. During Obasanjo was the worst government. During Yar'Adua, of course, Yar'Adua was not stable. It was going up and down until he finally rested his soul. During Jonathan, we said he was a clueless person. We have never had it that bad before. We said Buhari should come. At some point, it was looking like if Buhari did not become Nigerian president, Nigeria would not prosper. When Buhari shed tears on national television in 2011, 2015, God buttered the bread. He set us back. At some point, we felt that, Tinubu will be the person to do it. Tinubu is there now. Look at the way things are now. I'm quite sure if Tinubu is not the president today, he will also have the solution to Nigerian economy, like others who have not tested the power. So there is a whole lot of dynamism. I just told you, the reason why I quarrel with those politicians, the reason why I don't believe that they are fighting for the nation is that they are not talking about the issue of hunger. They are not talking about the issue of economy. The interviewer posted it to Aliyu Dume. Aliyu Dume said the president is not carrying people along sufficiently, especially the politician, which means that if 𝐒𝐿-Rufai is part of this government today, we may not be hearing noise from his angle. If Aliyu Dume is getting what he wants to get today, we may not be hearing noise from these quarters. So that is the issue. Let's see how it goes. These politicians, they will test their way. But like I said, and a lot of people are also aligning, the opposition should go and sit tight. They should go back to the drawing board. When 𝐒𝐿-Rufai cross-carpeted, for example, we thought by now a lot of people will have followed him. But today, it's still like, I know 𝐒𝐿-Rufai will be thinking within himself now that, why did I move so fast? Because he felt that a lot of people will follow it. We know these people. That's the truth of the matter. So they should go back to the drawing board. They should do whatever they can do to come up strongly against the ruling government. But I keep saying this. Those who may not like it, if you care, don't believe it. It will be very difficult, even for Jonathan, who is not like politically too strong at that time. An opposition was needed to unseat him. So you need a very strong, coherent opposition to be able to give a Tinubu president fight for election. That's the truth of the matter. But it is unfolding. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So it's not about people's interest. It's about power grabbing. It's about politics. It's about selfish political ambition. Pure and simple.
All right, let's take a look at this one as well. Overstay your visa, risk 10-year ban. Federal government tells expatriates. Now, I'm wondering how the federal government will be doing this in terms of the yardstick to identify who are not even Nigerians, if Nigerians could get NIN. And he is saying, as a matter of fact, that from August 1, there will be a 10-year ban, and somewhere they say $15 per day for breaking the rules. Now, how do we check this? Because we have a very porous system where people have access, even foreigners have access to Nigerian data from what we've read, from what we've seen so far. So for Tunji Ojo, how do we intend that he gets this done as a matter of fact?
Yes, we have a very porous border. However, some people still come in on visiting visa to Nigeria. I think majorly that is what the minister is trying to work on, to say that if you overstay your visa, you are going to be heavily sanctioned. In the process of doing that, we must be very careful. Today, we talk about trade tariff, the trade war that Donald Trump is steering across the globe. Come to think of it, if you look at the sweeping trade tariff on Africa from Donald Trump, Nigeria has the least, about 14%. Do you know that excuse that Donald Trump gave? He said their own goods in Nigeria is having 27%. So if you look at it from that angle, will you blame Donald Trump? That is on one hand. Of course, he's doing it the wrong way, because as a nation, no matter how strong and powerful you think you are, you cannot fight the whole world. Having said that, Tunji Ojo must be very careful. They are deporting people from America. We are complaining. There are a lot of our own citizens who are immigrants in the West who have overstayed their visa. We have had people that have been in a country for 5 years, no status, and they are still managing, keeping soul and body together. If Tunji Ojo decide to implement that, would that have a bilateral negative effect on the country? So I don't know whether you get the point I'm making at all. If you say 6 months visa, you overstay. There are Nigerians who are overstaying their visa in Canada. There are Nigerians who are overstaying their visa in the UK. There are Nigerians who are overstaying their visa in the US. What you need to do is that if you know that you are overstaying your visa, you are out of status, like it's popularly referred to, you must not commit crime. I don't know whether you get the point I'm making. You don't commit crime. You don't do anything. If you don't commit any crime that will make you interface with the police, you are safe. You can still continue. You'll be looking like a lawful citizen. So we must look at this very critically. I agree that we must checkmate those that are unduly overstaying their visa. But this is also peculiar to our own nationals who are immigrants elsewhere. In case there is a global backlash on this issue, will Nigeria be able to handle it?
But let me just add this. Would we say there is a master plan for them to carry this out? You know, that's my question, because it appears to be a fire brigade approach here. He's saying August. August is almost here. Like we do here, when they want to deport even Nigerians from the Europe, they have maybe they give them monies. Like you heard instances of take $5,000, take $3,000 and go back to your country. Now, does Nigeria has the capacity? If they say they are deporting a foreigner, would they just throw them in the blues? Now, what is the plan? Do we say the government has a plan because Nigerians are saying they've not even eaten, and now we want to face immigration war? Are we ready for it?
I don't think we are ready for it. Like I said, we need to sanction. But if you overstay your status, I don't think there's any government in the world that will give you money after deportation, because they are even doing you a favor. What they do for you, maybe they will just put you on a flight, so you are not going to pay. That's just it. They are doing you a favor, because if you overstay your welcome, it's like a criminal offense. You are supposed to be behind bar. So if they deport you, are they going to give you money to set up your own business? I don't think so. It doesn't work that way. But Nigeria must really look at this issue very well. Okay, for example, if you are charging them $15 per day, how many of these people can even earn $15 per day? Do you know how much $15 per day is in naira terms? I don't know whether you are getting that. So if you are charging them $15 per day, and you do that for like 5 months, 3 months, that's going to be a lot. How do you cope with that? So what we should do is that let us further strengthen some of our foreign policy and also ensure that we track them. Those that are overstaying, let them renew. Let's put measures in place that will make them to renew their stay in the area of validating or maintain their status. By that, they will pay for visa fee or they will pay for what they call government fee. That can make more money for the government. But like you said, and I am also saying, and a lot of Nigerians are of the view that we might not be able to maintain this. And if we implement this ban on these people, what if their own country decide to reciprocate and do the same? There are a lot of Nigerians that are out of status in the West. I must tell you, we are talking about the US, they want to deport people. Do you think those that have valid documents could be deported? They can't be deported because they have valid documents. Most people that are affected, they are people who have run out of status. I personally know people who have spent 5 years, 7 years, 8 years in the US, and they have no status yet. They are moving from one place to the other, just gambling here and there. So if we do this at home, of course, the minister is doing fantastically well, is the star boy of this administration, for example. But are we sure we can be able to curtail this in case we start implementing them and some other country decide to also reciprocate by way of sending our people back or imposing heavy fine on them when they run out of status? We must put measures in place that will make it extremely difficult for them to overstay. And if they are going to overstay, there must be a window for them to extend or renew their status so that they can continue to stay. For example, if I say I'm going to Ghana, I have validity for 6 months. After 6 months, I can decide to extend my stay. And if I want to extend my stay, the government will make some amount of money from that. That is revenue.
Well, Austin, let's go to Abuja. WIKI enforces 21-day payment deadline, 2-year building limit in FCT. Now, would we say that this is getting very serious in terms of some of the policies that were seen in the FCT? We do know that at a point in time, I said the fear of El-Rufai then was the beginning of wisdom while he was the minister of FCT. Now, from what we've seen with WIKI, some person says this is like grabbing the land, this is like recklessness, this is not Rivers State. What do we see with some of the policies that WIKI is churning out in FCT itself?
See, these policies are very good, especially for Abuja to retain its original masterpiece. I think it's WIKI that is the problem. WIKI is almost like the Nigerian problem. You understand?
Right.
It's controversial. He talks recklessly. A lot of people do not like him. You know, if somebody you do not like is doing good, you will not agree that the person is doing good. They are robust policy. For example, why won't people pay their ground rents? Why would they pay their land rents? I don't know whether you're getting that. There are corporations, there are multinational, there are VIPs, there are people who have been in government, who have been politics, they are in Abuja, they will buy land, they will not develop their land. There are even some places in Lagos that if you buy land within 2 years, they will give you code. Even there are some estates in Ibadan, not even in Lagos, in Ibadan, that when you buy a piece of land, you must develop it within this time frame. There are estates in Ibadan that they will give you scope as in the specification of what you are going to have there. I know of some estates in Ibadan, you can't even build for commercial purpose. If you want to build for rent, for example, you want to build duplex, for example, for rent, there are some estates you need to attach it because you can't split it like normal regular flat or like 4 flats and just put rent in there. I can't mention this estate, but those that are listening to us this morning, they will know. So there must be regulation. Where there is no law, there is no offense. So if WIKI, the way WIKI is going about it might be wrong, why would somebody buy a piece of land? Because what is being done in Abuja is that a lot of these politicians, they buy these properties, they buy this parcel of land as a means of capital tie down, because some of these funds as a result of proceeds of crime. So they use it to tie capital down for speculative purposes, and speculative buying kills the economy. I don't know whether you are getting the point. So that's the issue. Why would people pay their ground rent? A lot of people pay for tenement rent. You have seen people, maybe a political party, they have not paid for their ground rent for 10 years. Is that normal in an ideal society? And if somebody should pick it up, we'll say, oh, because they don't like that party, or because government is weaponized. Look at the Speaker of the House of Rep. All of them are property, they are not paying their ground rent. It doesn't make any sense. These are loss of revenue for government. That is why you find a place like Castle Rock for several years, they were not paying NEPA bill. That is why you find a place like DSQ, they were not paying NEPA bill. When NEPA went there to disconnect the light, we started whipping up sentiment because we feel that we can do certain things and get away with it. You can't do that anywhere in the country, anywhere around the world. It is not possible. There are statutory fees that you pay in a month and you must pay them. And if you don't pay them, you will be sanctioned. So if Wike is bringing that policy, let's look at the merit of it. It was not the FCT minister yesterday, and it cannot be the FCT minister forever. But is this thing good for the country? Is it good for the FCT? Is it good for the sanity of the FCT? Go to Abuja, go to Apple, for example. Go and look at the rate of abandoned structure, monumental structure, gigantic structure. Nobody is occupying them. Politicians just use funds to tie. They just use those property to tie fund down. It's not normal in an ideal society. So if he's coming with this thing, let us look at the merit of it. I don't think we need to throw the baby away with the bad water. Of course, Wike has been very controversial. A lot of people do not like him. At times he oversteps his boundary. He does not know how to talk, number one. He does not know when to stop talking. Even if he's if he's the one that is right, he will post himself to a level where it will become wrong. That is his type of person. He is a controversial figure. That is his nature. For example, of course, he's getting older and he's not changing that behavior. It's not changing that pattern of life. But this policy, is it good or bad? There are some places in Ibadan, if you buy land after some time, they will ask you to come and buy them again. Has it happened to you before? They will ask you to come and buy it again. Oh, you have bought this land, you are not developing it. There are some places you cannot buy land without developing it. If you buy land as a matter of urgency, you must start developing that land. Because if you don't develop that land, you are most likely going to forfeit it. So we must have a Senate structure. That's the truth. If there are ways and manner in which it's implementing it and that is offending people, that is wrong, I think we can look for a way to correct that. But our rich people in Nigeria, they feel that they can do anything and get away with it.
All right, Austin, let's quickly look at this one before going on a break. ECOWAS court faults Kano's blasphemy laws, asks Nigeria to amend status. Now, as a matter of fact, this blasphemy law, the penal code in Kano State, for instance, it's causing a lot of brouhaha, especially among entertainers, because sometimes you have instances of some of the entertainers being put behind bars, some of them eventually they're sentenced to that. Now, would we say this is apt at this time for ECOWAS bringing this up and saying that something must be done about it?
Yes, I think it's good that ECOWAS is raising observation. A lot is really going on in Kano, in the northern part of the country, especially in Kano. A lot, Kano, Kaduna, a lot is going on in terms of intolerance. You know, yesterday we were discussing a story of tell your papa we are hungry, being power, this stuff, which is true anyway. You know, NBC, they had to ban that particular lyrics on the media space. And all of us said, no, you can't continue to do that. This is free speech. This is democracy. People reserve the right to express themselves. Abdul Karim sang under Obasanjo, Nigeria Jaga Jaga. Of course, Obasanjo also took him up that time. I think he was detained at some point or so. So let's allow people to express their opinion. But a lot of these things that we fight for in the South, they are not applicable like that in the North. That's the truth of the matter. We have seen musicians who are behind bar. The other time, somebody criticized the governor of Kano State and he was giving, I think, 50 stroke of cane. We don't really talk about some of these things. It happens, especially in the northern part of the country. You see people killing people from one flipping reason or the other. You see people when they are drinking, some people will come and say, oh, they are enforcing certain religious rights and what have you. So all of these things are rampant. So I think it's like a clarion call that ECOWAS is drawing our attention to it. Let's also look at it inward, because most of the time we focus on the federal government. Okay. We talk about the federal government, human rights. There are some of our states that there's no human rights, there's no civility, there's no rule of law. So we must checkmate some of this law that trample on people's rights.
All right, we have to go on this break. We'll come back very shortly. Please do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Do you know you can still meet up with June 2025 admission into one of the most affordable universities in the UK? Wrexham University is the right place for you as it offers quality education. Wrexham University is top 5 in the UK for teaching satisfaction according to the Guardian University Guide 2025 for courses and lectures. June admission application is ongoing at Wrexham University for various master's programs, and master's tuition fee ranges from £10,500 to £11,500 after scholarships. All you need to do is pay 50% of this fee, and the rest can be paid when you get to the UK. Talk to a representative of Wrexham University on WhatsApp by chatting 070-868-60286. Also follow the representative on Instagram at Apply and Study. Wrexham University, the place to be.
Ganusi Extra! Laugh Matters with Benga Denka and Friends is back with the About Time Tour 2025, promising an unforgettable experience filled with laughter, featuring Mr. P, P-Square, Terry Akbala, Papa Tumishe, Bash, Omobaba, Dr. Smile, Kiki, Kenny Black, Mr. Escom, Itiquiti Master, General Olak, Pretty Arike, Pretty Fola, Kamo, Baba Laria, Madiba, Package, Tai Chi, Rapping Daddy, DJ Sexy, DJ Mass, and many more. Date, Sunday, 20th of April 2025. Venue, Jogo Center, Ibadan. Show starts 4 p.m. Tickets, regular 5K, VIP 10K, Gold 250K, Platinum 500K. Ticket available at Hessen Salon, Foodco Supermarket, Ultima Restaurant, Grandex Supermarket, Ace Supermarket.
Online at fonzweb.com.
Proudly brought to you by FIRS, Multina, Goldberg, Ace Roots,
Omni Blue Aviation.
supported by the Oyo State Government, Enclave Properties, Eleganza, Ibadan. Let's Ganusi together. Media partner 32 FM.
Golden penny pasta, what's your reason?
What's your reason, oh?
Everybody gather round. Come and hear the news in town. From the kitchen to my heart, every single body's a thrill. With every bowl I share, I find more reasons.
There are more reasons to love Golden Penny Pasta, enriched with protein and fiber for you and your loved ones. Golden Penny Pasta, great taste, good nutrition.
You must have heard about Cocoa Box. If you have not, you are sleeping on a bicycle. Over 500,000 is paid every week. With just 200 naira, you can play to win 10,000 naira by dialing *347 *253#. Raffle draws are live on radio Mondays through Fridays at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. and on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. 10 lucky winners will be selected on weekdays and 5 winners on Saturday. To play, just dial *347 *253# on any network or visit www.ko-cocobox.fun. Again, it's *347 *253#. Please note that the bank account that will appear is Titan Paystack. Don't be caught napping. Cocoa Box is in partnership with 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan. The more you play, the more your chances of winning big.
Tifa bá wọlé tọ́ ní fàáfàá Jifa. 32 FM, the happiness station, is ready to spread happiness again. Yes, ke? Turn don't reach for us to make our listeners smile again. Oh, are you ready? Chetty bro dede. Awufu berekete don't land like traffic lights. If true data is life. Now if you say recharge card go come with you. If your finger is fast and you are feeling lucky on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, then keep your dial locked on 32 FM 949. Nítorí òjò recharge recharge card yóò máa rọ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun ọjọ́rú àti ọjọ́bọ̀ ìyún ni pé every Tuesday Wednesday and Thursday time go reach o àwùfù bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹ̀tẹ̀gò dey ṣẹlẹ̀ on top 32 FM 94.9 by 8 a.m. 11 a.m. 1 p.m. 5 p.m. Congo reach 7 p.m. lẹ́yìn tó túmọ̀ sí pé láago mẹ́jọ òwúrọ̀ aago mọ́kànlá àárọ̀ aago kan ọ̀sán aago márùn-ún àti aago méje àṣálẹ́ if it be red network if it be green network if it fit be yellow network any which way na way your own na to stay alert and stay active on 32 FM ló bá tán mọ́ gọ́ọ̀kì ẹ̀ láfàwọ́dá.
ṣé wọn like Vini Junior èmi tí mo phenomenal gangan.
kò bá jẹ́ 24 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32 FM 949 ẹ̀yẹ̀ fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Alright, you're welcome back. It's still on to Break It On People's Review here on your Laughter Line 32 FM 94.9. And of course, we've been having Austin Iduma do the analysis proper with us this morning. It's right about time to take your comments on our socials and also take your calls. The numbers to do that are 070 55000 949 or 080 97000 949 or plus 234 90 62,949. Those are the numbers to call in. All right, we have a caller here. All right, the numbers again are 070 55000 949 or 080 97000 949. All right, we take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Happy weekend.
Same to you. Morning.
John 𝐿
All right.
Kudos to the analyst. On the issue of overpay of the illegal. To me, I'm aligning myself with the analyst. Look, the minister needs to just be taking it easy. I think you can make money from these people when they are overpaid, as long as they are not causing the problem. Yes, you can be getting money from them by taking the money through the overpaying particular money. So I think that is okay. Instead of saying you want to send them back, if you do that, what about if the government of their own country too sending our people away? I think we need to take it like that. And then for the issue of appointment lopsided that the Iduma is against the Mr. President, to me, Iduma is not fighting for the country. He's not fighting for Nigeria. Like the analyst rightly said, he's fighting for the northern people. And I don't even blame him much because that's how they build Nigeria. Nigeria is not built as a country, as a nation. It's built as a just like enterprises. That's the way they build it. That is why Buhari also did the same way. So the same President Buhari did the same way. Mr. President, President Tinubu also doing, because I will have also agreed that if you give juicy position to the eastern part of the country, to southeast, it will be better. So I like it like that, the way the analyst put it. Yes, instead of all those things that Iduma is just shouting to me, it's just like a ranting. So it's not something that I agree with him at all. So when we have in Nigeria a country, because to me, we don't have a country to me. Let us have a country whereby all those discrimination about northern, southern Yoruba, all these things, we just listen. Otherwise, that's how we will continue. Thanks and good morning.
All right, thank you so much for that, John Olariwaja. The numbers again are plus 234 90 62,000 949. Do remember we're also live on Facebook. In case you want to drop your comments, that's 32FM Fenya on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenya with double E's. We do have some comment here. So Lokwari says, good morning. The news surrounding the firming up of coalition against President Tinubu is a good one. And he's also saying and a welcome development as well, because this move will make the opposition parties wake up to their responsibilities of putting the APC-led federal government on their toes. All right, we do have Honorable 𝐾𝐈𝐒 that caller says, you may not like Wike, but the man is performing and restructuring Abuja. All right, we'll take this one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
John Uzon is my name. Thank you for this program. Is indeed competent to talk of lopsidedness in appointment by the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is indeed competent to talk that what happened during Buhari time? Was it not? He did even the worst. We had the military and 20 other management staff speaking the same language and they praying together at the same place. Is he competent to accuse this president of lopsidedness? That for 80 years rule of Major General Muhammadu Buhari, no Igbo man was appointed one of the service chiefs, IG, or even any of the paramilitary organizations. It never happened until Bola Ahmed Buhari came and they appointed that the Igbo man as the chief of naval staff. Is he competent to talk that? Where was the senator? Where was this senator when Buhari turned everything demonstrably down, turning everything in favor of his own region? I'm John Uzon. I want to be brief. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John Uzon there. Oluwaseun Roots on Facebook says, good morning, 32 FM. I wonder if our government will be able to tackle this issue of insecurity with the way they are handling things, because the way they are taking insecurity with levity hand is really bad. And we all know that security is local, which I believe the federal government should have granted state police by now. All right, Sulaiman Sheriff also have this one. We take this one as our last caller for the day. Hello, good morning.
Bravo, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. This is okay. Yeah, on the overstay that the Minister of Interior is talking, I think, well, it's a good thing. But we should all be very careful about the repercussions. Like Austin rightly said, we have a lot of people out there that will face it more if there is, let me use that word, a retaliatory avenue of trying to do it. So I think he should rethink it. He should rethink it much as I agree. Also, you're overstaying. There are months you are giving to act before punishment is coming in. So I wouldn't understand. Is he saying the very day you overstay, he starts counting the $15? This is actually what we should get for. And on the one of Ndume and all these lopsided appointments, they are politicians. That is the normal thing. It's like a baby thing. You do them. Me, self, I won't do my own. Isn't it funny that is what we do in this part? Good morning. This is okay.
Thank you so much, Oki, for that. Sulaiman Sher says, back in the days of the PDP, a song like Jaga Jaga came out and was praised for boldly speaking the truth about the state of the nation. Nobody called it nonsense then. But now Idris Abdulkarim speaks up with a song that reflects today's reality, and suddenly it's unacceptable. All right, Austin, any last shot as we leave the studios this morning? Hello, Austin, can you hear me? All right, I guess Austin is not on this virtual call again, and that's the much we can actually take on the Break It On People's Review this morning. All right, we must say big thank you to all our callers and those who sent in their messages. Baba Fendo is up next. My name is GBOLABO. Famous School. Do have a blessed day.
Every day is another chance to do it all over again.